Hello everyone. Good morning to one and all, and a warm welcome to the next session on JavaScript. So in the previous sessions, we have discussed about arrays in JavaScript, and in today's session, we are going to concentrate on constructors in JavaScript. We all know the definition of a constructor. If the class name and method name is same, then the method is called as a constructor. So that's what we studied in C++ and Java. But in JavaScript, the constructors are somewhat different. We will discuss it now. Before going to see about the constructors, we are going to see about the functions. So how to define a function in JavaScript, how to call a function in JavaScript. After the completion of functions, we are going to discuss about how to define a constructor in JavaScript and how the constructor is executed. So if still there is time, we concentrate on validating the forms. I will explain what is validation and how that validation is performed by using an example program in JavaScript. So if there is time, we will concentrate on validation of forms and matching regular expression. Right? So let us move to the functions in JavaScript. Right? Let us start today's session with the functions in JavaScript. Right? So this is the slide where we have stopped the previous session. Different methods which are used along with the arrays. And in today's session, we start our session with the functions. So a function is a block of code which will be executed only if it is called. We have written functions in C, we have written functions in C++, in Java. All the things in all the languages, the definition of a function is same, where a function will have some name and will have some parameters depending upon our need, and we can execute those functions by calling them. So the procedure of writing a function and the executing of a function depends upon the language. So in JavaScript also, it supports functions where the function contains a block of code which will be executed when we call that function. Without calling that function, that block of code will never get executed in case of functions. It is a syntax of functions, declaration of function in JavaScript. We have already worked with several examples in the previous sessions. We have defined a function, we have called that function, all these things, but I don't cover the theory part, right? So in JavaScript, if we want to define a function, we use the function keyword followed by name of the function. And within the braces, if we want parameters, we can have it. And then in the next part of the function is body of the function. So in any language, function will have four parts, right? Function will have four parts: a return type, function name, parameters, and body, right? So in JavaScript, we don't bother about the return type. We have a keyword called as function keyword. The four parts are function keyword, right? I will underline with different colors. Function name, right? And then parameters of the function, right? Parameters of the function. And the fourth part of the function is body of the function. So in JavaScript, the function is of containing of four parts: function keyword, name of the function, parameters of the function, and body of the function. So let us see how these functions can be defined and these functions can be called in JavaScript. So here is the example. In order to define a function in JavaScript, we need to use function keyword followed by name of the function. Here my function name is welcome and it does not have any parameters, and the things inside the braces are called as body of the parameter. So I want to write this is a simple function over the output screen. So in order to write simple, this is simple function on the output screen, I have used a document.write. So we all know if we want to print something, we use document.write or document.writeln in case of JavaScript, right? Let us see the next one. So declaring a function will not execute the function in the program. We need to call that function. So how functions can be called in JavaScript in the sense, just by using their name, open parenthesis and closed parenthesis, will call that particular function, right? So example, in the previous slide, I have created a function called welcome. So just a declaration of that welcome function will never give you the output. If you want to see the output of that function, we need to make a call to that function. So the name of the function is welcome. And if I want to execute that welcome function, simply I can call welcome, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, semicolon. If I write this statement in the JavaScript code, it will execute the function with the name welcome, right? And we all know that while discussing about the functions, the most and important part of the function in all other programming languages is return type. We simply write int m, if m is the name of the function, int m, float m, or void m, etc. Which means if the entire function is executed, if the function returns an integer value, we define it as int m. If the execution of the function returns a float point value, we declare it as a float. And if the entire function execution is not returning any value, in the sense we are going to use at least void in case of functions in all other languages. But in JavaScript, there is no need to bother about the return type. Why? Because every function in JavaScript returns undefined, right? Every function in Java returns nothing. Even though it returns nothing, there is no need to specify void also, because the syntax or defining a function in JavaScript do not contain the return type, right? So that is the meaning of that point. Every function in JavaScript returns undefined unless otherwise specified. So here, next one. And then to specify a return value for a function. So by default, there is no return for a function in JavaScript. But if you want to return something, if you want a function to return something, you can return by using a keyword called as return statement. So there is one statement, a return statement. Return statement can be followed by an expression or a value. So after executing the entire function, that function will return the thing which is given along with the return statement. For example, if you have return 0, then 0 will be returned after the execution of the function. If you have return a will be returned after the execution of this function. By default, there is nothing will be returned. But if you want to make a function to return something, you can maintain the return keyword of as a last statement in the body of the function. Right? Next one. So it is the example return expression. So the expression which was maintained there will be calculated, and the result of the expression will be returned for the whom the function is called by. We can also use the return statement without the value to exit the function perpetually. So it is not mandate to use return space 0, or to use return space 5 point something, or to use return space a, or to use return space a star b. It is not a mandate. Using a value or an expression is not, along with the return statement, is not mandate. We can simply use a return statement that will exit the function perpetually, right? Next one. So this is how the functions will behave in JavaScript. And the next one is constructors in JavaScript, right? So we all know that the constructor is a special type of method, right? Constructor is a special type of method. As we studied in C++, as we studied in Java, right? Constructor is a special type of method where the name of the class name is same as the method name. And one more thing is that we don't have constructors in case of C programming language, because in C programming language they do not support the concept of constructor. They do not support the concept of classes. If there is no support of classes, how can we make constructors? Right? So the only languages which are supporting object-oriented programming is will have classes. So the languages who is having the classes will definitely support methods. And if the method name and the class name are same, then it is called as constructor. So a JavaScript constructor is a special type of method which is used to initialize and create an object. Next one. It is called when memory is allocated for an object. So when the constructor in JavaScript will be called in the sense, whenever the memory is allocated for an object, then the constructor will be automatically called. We all have studied that no one can call the constructor explicitly. When you want to call a constructor, you need to create an object for that class. Right? The people who don't know the concept of constructors and how constructors can be called, and what are the different rules of constructors and how constructors behave in programming languages, they can please follow the video which was kept in the Java playlist of this YouTube channel, so that you will have some good knowledge on constructors. It is very important. While attending an interview, they may ask questions on constructors also. There is a lot of depth in the concept of constructors. Constructors do not have return type because they don't return a value. Constructor in the sense the name of the class is same as method name. Constructors can have parameters. Constructors can be overloaded. Constructors will be called during the time of object creation. Constructors will construct something. So in case of C++, the things which are constructed by the constructors should be deleted by the destructors. But the destructors concept is not there in Java. Java is having a garbage collection, automatic garbage collection. So there is a lot of depth in the concept of constructors. So please go through the video, right? And then next one, the constructor keyword is used to declare a constructor method. There is some change here, right? So while we are dealing with the previous programming languages like C++ and Java, if we want to define a constructor, there is no need to use constructor keyword. We can simply define it by making the class name as same as method name. But here, if you want to define a constructor in JavaScript, you need to use a keyword called as constructor keyword. It is a different criteria, right? Keep this point in your mind. In JavaScript only, at the same time, if we want to define a function in JavaScript, you going to use a function keyword. But in case of C++ and Java, in order to define a function, we don't use the function keyword. We simply define it by using a return type, a function name, parameters, and body of the function. But in JavaScript, we have to tell to the compiler, we have to tell to the scripting level that we are going to define a function or we are going to define a constructor, right? So in order to define a function in JavaScript, we use function keyword. And in order to define a constructor in JavaScript, we use constructor keyword, right? And one more important point here, unlike C++ and Java, here we can only define one constructor. JavaScript never allows the programmer to define n number of two or more number of constructors. It only allows the programmer to define only one and only one constructor. But in case of C++ and Java, we can have any number of constructors. That's what the constructor overloading topic means. Constructor overloading in the sense defining two or more number of constructors with different parameter profile is called as constructor overloading. So two or more constructors in the sense each and every constructor will have the same name as class name. Then only it will become a constructor, right? So in C++ and Java, we can have any number of constructors, but in JavaScript, the programmer will allow only for only one constructor. And the next one, JavaScript allows us to use parent class constructor through super keyword. So this is the point which was followed in Java and C++ also. So when you define a constructor and execute the program, super keyword will be automatically added as a first statement to each and every constructor. If you write it or not, that super keyword will be added by the JVM. Because whenever a constructor is called, it will look for the superclass constructor, right? So the same thing here, JavaScript allows us to use parent class. If we define two or more classes which are under an inheritance relation, now the JavaScript is going to allow the allow the child class to access the parent class constructor by using the super keyword, right? So the same thing happens in case of Java also. So by using the super keyword, we are able to access the constructor of the superclass. But if you want to use the super keyword inside a constructor, that should be the first statement inside the constructor. We cannot use the super keyword as a second statement. We cannot use the super keyword as a third or nth number of statement inside a constructor. At the same time, this keyword also. So this keyword is used to refer the current class object. Super keyword is used to refer the superclass objects or superclass variables and methods. So if we want to use the super keyword and this keyword inside the constructors, it is better. It is not better. We have to keep that. We have to keep them either super keyword or this keyword as a first statement inside the constructor. Then only the program will get executed. Otherwise, you will face an error that it will mention that super keyword and this keyword should be as a first statement inside the constructor, right? So in JavaScript allows us to use the parent class constructor by using the super keyword, right? So let us discuss all these points in a programming window so that we can move to the next topic, that is HTML events. We will discuss later. Now let us see the concept of functions and constructors in a programming window, and then we can move to the events, right? Just a second. Right. See this example. See this example. I will show you. And this is an example program in Java, which was just explained for the secondary EC people. Right. So there is one class in Java, and the name of the class is class A, right? And there is one method inside the class where the method do not have any return type. Even the method even don't have the void also. This does not have any void also. So there is no return type. And if you observe the name of the method, which is same as class name, right? So if the name of the method is same as class name, then it is called as a constructor. And if you observe the next one, there is one more constructor, and still there exists a third constructor. So the main difference between these three constructors are, the first one do not have any parameters, and the second one is having a single integer parameter, and the third one is having two integer parameters. So if anybody wants to call the first constructor, then there is no need to pass any value. But in case of calling the second and third constructors, we need to pass the respective number of integer values, right? So in the next class, class TC, we have written the main method in Java programming language, and we have created an object for class A. So while creating an object for class A, we don't pass any value. So in case if we don't pass any value, which means that we are going to execute the constructor which is having 0 parameters. So the output of this particular program will be constructors with 0 parameters. So let us check this one. Pass. Right. So this is the output. So a constructor with 0 parameters has been printed, right? So in such case, if I want to execute the constructor which is having one integer parameter, then I have to create one more object, and I need to pass any integer value in order to execute the constructor which is having integer parameter. So I'm saving this one, compiling the program, and then running the program. So if you observe, it has printed constructor with 0 parameters, constructor with 2 parameters, and constructor with 1 parameter. This is because we have used a this keyword inside the second constructor. So this keyword will execute the current class constructor. So which constructor is going to be executed in the sense? So the constructor which is going to take two integer values as a parameter is going to be executed. So if I delete this particular statement in the program, and if I re-execute the code by compiling and after then running the program, we get the desired output now. So a constructor with 0 parameters and a constructor with 1 parameter has been printed. So if I want to execute the third one, that is a of int a and int b, we need to create another object, and during the time of creation we need to pass two integer values, so that will execute the third constructor. So, and one more thing is that each and every constructor will be added automatically by using a super keyword. If we write it or not, that super keyword will be added by the JVM automatically. So that super keyword is used to access the super class constructor, right? And at the same time, we can use the this keyword inside the constructor. So when we use this keyword inside the constructor, then that will invoke the current class constructor with respected number of parameters. So this is the case in case of Java, right? But in case of JavaScript, the concept is quite different. Here we don't use any constructor keyword in order to define a constructor. We simply maintain the name of the method as class name, and at the same time, we define three constructors: constructor with 0 parameters, constructor with 1 parameter, and constructor with 2 parameters. But in case of JavaScript, we cannot define 2 or more number of parameters. So JavaScript allows the programmer only to define one and only one constructor. So let us see one JavaScript program. Let us start writing with HTML. And inside the body tag, use the script tag. Right? So inside the script tag, so if I want to define a function first, I need to use the function keyword, followed by, if my function name is a, I can use a, and it is the body of the function. So if I want to print something on the output screen when we make a call to the function a, then we can use document dot write ln. For example, good morning. Document dot write ln good morning. So whenever we make a call to this function, so it will print good morning as an output. Let us see this one. Let us save this program with f.html, right? And let us observe the output of this code. So if you observe, it has printed good morning, right? So let us re-execute the code by deleting this particular statement, which was at line number 8. So I have deleted that code and I try to re-execute. So if I re-executed, nothing was displayed. So that's what the first point I mentioned. So declaring a function itself will never give you the output. So after declaration, we need to make a call to that particular function. So calling a function is simply function name followed by open parenthesis and closed parenthesis semicolon. So that will make a call to that function. And at the same time, we can call the function any number of times. We can call the function any number of times. So let us see the output of this code. So if you observe, it has printed good morning for 4 times. That means we have made a call to that particular function a for 4 times. That's why it has executed the same function again and again for 4 times, right? So this is how we define functions in JavaScript, and we make a call to that functions in JavaScript. Now, if I want to define a constructor, simply in place of function, if I use the keyword constructor, constructor, then it will create a constructor in JavaScript. So there is no need to have this name for this constructor.
Namaste sir, మీరు చెప్పినట్టుగానే ప్లాన్ చేసుకొని నేను మీరు ఇచ్చిన
It's similar to Java. We can have some class name here, right? And inside that we can have variables. For example, in JavaScript generally we use var in order to define variables, variable a comma b, and inside the constructor we can have variables, right? So let us see that this constructor is going to assign. Let's discuss this keyword later. Let us have another variables, for example, c comma d, and let us write a equal to c and then b equal to d. So what this constructor will generally do is it is going to allocate the value which was passed first to the variable a, and the value which was passed second to the variable b, right? So after that one, if we want to execute the constructor, let us define one more variable. Let us define a variable called as some x, which is equal to new, right? Which is equal to new a, and we can pass any two values, right? We can pass any two values here, so that 10 will be assigned to a and 20 will be assigned to b. After this one, if you want to print the values of a and b, we can use document dot write ln of a and then document dot write ln of b. So this is generally how we execute the constructor by using this function, right? So by using this statement, we can have a variable keyword followed by name of the variable, and on the RHS side we should have a new keyword followed by the class name in which our constructor consists of, right? So this is how we can have constructors inside JavaScript. So if you observe the previous thing, here we have defined three constructors: a with 0 parameters, a with 1 parameter, and a with 2 integer parameters. But in JavaScript, it will never allow the program to write more than one constructor. So we can only have one and only one constructor here, right? If you define one more constructor with the keyword constructor, it will produce some error in the program, right? So these are the things regarding constructors in JavaScript. And with this, I'm going to close today's session, right? Hope you all enjoyed today's session. So in today's session, we have discussed the things regarding functions in JavaScript and constructors in JavaScript, right? So the people who are having any doubts regarding these two topics, you can just make a comment in the comment box of this YouTube video, right? And I really thank each and every listener of this video for being here. And I hope you all got some enough knowledge regarding the constructors and functions in JavaScript. And in the next session, we are going to see about the events in JavaScript. And along with the events, we are going to cover the topics of validations and then regular expressions. We all know the event. So the change in the status of any object is called as an event. In Java, we have worked with events. So we know that awt.event package, where all the events, classes, and event interfaces are stored. We know the event delegation model, where one event is generated by the source and that event is handled by the listener. In order to handle that event, the source should be registered to the listener. This is the event delegation model what we have studied in Java. So similar to the event handling procedure in Java, there is one event handling topic in JavaScript, right? So here we can handle the events. Handling events in the sense, if there is any change which was occurred over the HTML or over the web page, that is registered as an event, and we can handle that event and we can produce the desired result for that event, right? So this is the thing which is going to be covered in the next class. So in the next class, we are going to cover about event handling in JavaScript, and then validations in JavaScript. That is how to validate a HTML page by using JavaScript, and then regular expression, right? And thank you very much for being here.